exactly are these alternative indicators telling us?
Well, I've covered a lot of up and down cycles in China over the many decades I've been covering this country. And when the economy is slowing down, we oftentimes have to look at these alternative indicators, whether it's satellite imagery or, electricity use or transportation figures, aside from the official data, which, by the way, also points to an economy losing momentum. But again, we look at these other surveys to really find out what the private sector is doing and what the consumers are doing. And that's what we're getting for the latest numbers for October. We knew October was going to be a bit weak. We already knew that CPI in October slipped into deflation, and the consumer did not necessarily come back in full force in the Singles Day holiday or shopping extravaganza over the weekend, which is now stretched over a month. And the numbers sort of, the company said they were doing well, but again, the overall indicators show that the big ticket items are not flying out the virtual shelves. So again, here's a couple of samples that Bloomberg News has found. QuantCube Technology, it's a French-based, Paris-based firm that uses alternative data sources such as web search queries, also transportation figures reflecting people's movements about the cities, as well as consumer reviews. It found that Chinese consumer demand for recreation in particular, as well as public and other transport means, fell in October from September. Another survey from U.S.-based Morning Consult also showed that consumer sentiment was weaker. And then there was this also a poll of private business confidence from the Cheung Kong Business or Graduate School of Business also declined in October. This is what QuantCube, Vonnie, had to say in its report. Despite the government's latest fiscal stimulus during October, our data indicates a persistent deceleration across all sectors, in particular transportation. So again, we use official data and then also have to use these other alternative measures.
Steve, when it comes to credit demand, we know that they've loosened borrowing costs and conditions. Is the demand and the confidence there?
It doesn't seem to be. Obviously, the loan growth decelerated a bit or missed estimates in October. The PBOC was out with its aggregate finance and loan numbers yesterday, and it shows that really government borrowing is taking up the majority of those loans. And again, that indicates that private sentiment is fairly weak. Private sector borrowing remains weak. Aggregate financing came in at 1.85 trillion yuan in October. That missed the estimate of 1.95 trillion yuan. So again, government borrowing making up really a record share of new financing. And that suggests that this fiscal stimulus package that we did get of about $1 trillion in special bonds from the government is the main economic support right now.